What's going on, guys? Welcome back to another video. In today's video we're going to talk about AMC GME as well as the overall broader market. So today AMC was down for 0.15% for the day. It had a high of $14.31. The average volume on AMC is around 41.36 million, but today's volume was around 30.89 million. So the investors are still interested in buying the stock. The volume hasn't gone down significantly, pretty low, but it's still there, a slight bit. Now when we look at the price action that's happening in AMC right now, it had a high of $14.31, and then it went back down to $13.53. So the investors are definitely pushing the stock to the upside. Now when I looked at the options flow, definitely a lot of individuals are buying call options on AMC, and they are expecting some sort of a volatility is going to be there in AMC. Now let's come over to the GameStop. Now GameStop was up for 0.92% for the day. It had a high of $125.17. From the last couple of weeks, GameStop has been going down consistently, and there is no upward momentum that was coming in GameStop. Just today it was in the green. Now the average volume on GameStop is around 3.36 million, but today's volume was around 1.65 million. So the volume is consistently going down, and it's staying around this area 1.65 to 1.7. Now in order to push the price up for the GameStop, we need a lot of volume coming into the GameStop, and there is no catalyst out there. And even the overall broader market is not showing any kind of a positive sentiments towards the upside. That's why GameStop and AMC both are suffering. But AMC is definitely showing some sort of a action as compared to the GameStop. Now let's come over to the SPY. Now SPY was up for 1.06% for the day. It had a high of $381.69. Now after a lot of down days, we finally had some sort of a green coming into the overall broader market. But the kind of upward momentum that we had today, it is not significant. It is not showing any kind of a further upward momentum coming into the market from here onwards. But by definitely looking at the options flow, there is some sort of an indication coming towards the downside. A lot of individuals are betting a huge amount of money in the SPY as well as the VIX. Now the VIX, the volatility index, came down significantly today. It came down 7% for the day. That's a lot of downtrend that came in VIX. And the main thing is this, even after the VIX coming down 7%, still the stock market didn't had a pretty solid good green 2 to 3% of a day. Usually what happens is, if we have that kind of a downtrend in the VIX, we get a super green day in the overall broader market. But by looking at the price action that we had in the major big companies like Google, Microsoft, Meta, they were all in the red, which is not at all a good sign for the overall broader market. All of these major FANG stocks, they indicate some sort of a direction that is coming into the stock market from here onwards. And by looking at the price action that we had in all these big companies, it doesn't seem to be pretty promising that we might have some sort of upward momentum coming from here onwards. Now Meta was down for 0.76% for the day. Google was down for 0.27% for the day, and the Apple was also in green. Now Apple and Microsoft are the big players in the stock market. Those were in green, but the other ones, the big companies, they were in red, which indicates there is no promising upward momentum coming from here onwards. VIX opened today at $29.53. That means there is extreme level of volatility that we experienced today. Usually VIX doesn't go down like this, or market maker is playing some sort of a game. Now we have big things happening in the month of July. Now we're gonna get the GDP number on the 28th of July, which is going to indicate we are in a recession officially or not, which can draw down the market to extreme levels of low. But we might have some sort of a upward momentum coming into the SPY in the following week, because we have the Google stock splits that is about to happen on the 18th of July, which will definitely put some sort of a aggressive upward momentum into Google as well as the overall broader market. Now let's come over to the options flow for the AMC. Now I've increased the premium to max and see what exactly the whales are doing. Now this one whale was buying a $12 call option. It's going to expire in 6 days, and he's buying 1,000 contract, and he's paying $158,000 for it. It's basically an in the money call option. He's betting that the AMC is going to go up significantly in next week. Now when I bring down the premium a little bit and see what exactly the mini whales and the retail are doing, majority of them are on to the upside. That's pretty surprising, and they are buying a lot of call option over here, and they are betting that the AMC is going to keep going up from here onwards. Now when I bring up the put to call ratio chart over here, you can see it for yourself. 62.2% is onto the call side and 37.8% is onto the put side. The volume on the call side is extremely heavy as compared to the put side. The premiums are pretty fancy onto the call side as compared to the put side. Rest, there was nothing majorly suspicious coming out of the options flow for the AMC. Now let's come over to the option flow for the GameStop. Now have increased the premium to max and see what exactly the whales are doing. Now these whales were buying put options over here. These are basically big money which is betting to the downside for the GameStop from here onwards. But I personally believe you never know. GameStop can have some sort of a news coming out from the company or from Ryan Cohen, and this stock can run up pretty well. But right now there is no sign of life that is coming from the GameStop. So buying these put options makes a lot of sense for these institutional money. Now when I bring down the premium a little bit and see what exactly the mini whales are doing, now majority of them are onto the downside and they are buying these put options and betting that the GameStop is going to go down from here onwards. But there are still a lot of call buyers as well betting that the GME is going to go up from here onwards. Now when I bring up the put to call ratio chart as well over here, you can see it for yourself. 40% is the call side and 60% is the put side. So a lot of individuals are betting to the downside for the GameStop. Now the volume over here in the GameStop is definitely higher onto the put side as compared to the call side. The premiums are pretty fancy over here onto the put side as compared to the call side. The rest, there was nothing majorly suspicious coming out of the option flow for the GameStop. Now let's come over to the options flow for the SPY. Now I've increased the premium to max and see what exactly the whales are doing. Now these two whales were betting a huge amount of money towards the downside in the SPY. Now we have been seeing this kind of a money flowing into the overall product market towards the downside, though we haven't got any direction yet. But these big institutional money, they are betting for the downfall for the market from here onwards. Now this $360 put option that's going to expire in 167 days, and this individual is buying 26,000 contract. He's paying $46.7 million for it. And this another one, this is $375 put option that's going to expire in 167 days. This individual is buying 18,000 contract and he's paying $41.7 million for it. That's a big money which is betting towards the downside for the overall bottom market from here onwards. Now when I bring down the premium a little bit and see what exactly the mini whales are doing, majority of them again are onto the downside, but some of them are still buying call option and expecting that we might have some sort of a rally to the upside. Now, by looking at the chart, it seems to be like we still have quite a lot of upside into this SPY before we experience any kind of a significant downtrend from here onwards. But you never know, the market maker might just drive down the price from here onwards. Though we are supposed to fill these gaps over here, this $400 gap in this SPY, which is a quite a bit of run from here. But the kind of movement that we had in a green day today, it was just 1.06%, which is not an impressive move for the SPY. If the SPY was up 3% or 4%, that could indicate some sort of a aggressive momentum coming into the SPY from here onwards. And as we can see over here, there are still quite a bit of gap down there. Now these gaps that we have over here, that might not get filled straight away because right now there is no good news out there which can get you a little bit of relief rally coming into it. Now when we look at the downside from here, now we have this slight bit of a gap at 369. The market maker would love to fill that gap first and we go down further and then we have a big rally to the upside. That's the only thing that I can think of right now. Now when I bring down the premium a little bit more onto the SPY and see what exactly the mini whales are doing. Now these $363 put option that's going to expire in 48 days were extremely suspicious, and these individuals are betting to the downside and they all just came in a line. That means they are extremely confident for the downside for the SPY from here onwards, and they came after market close and they are betting that the market will just keep going down from next week onwards, which is not at all a good sign for the overall broader market. We might have a strong pullback, and then from the following week onwards, we might have some sort of a green day because the Google is going to have a stock split, and we're going to definitely have a pretty solid run towards the stock split. And then we might have a big leg down because we're going to have the CPI number release in the middle of July, and then we're going to have the GDP number coming out at the end of July. So these are not at all a good news the market is expecting from here onwards. So thanks for watching my video. Please like and subscribe my channel, and I'm going to see you in the next one. Cheers.